Working for the weekend, and I want to see a show. I flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man over there into the music scene. Show lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So around town radio show is where I go for the latest blend info.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, one and all, to All Around Town Radio's Hot Topic Tuesday. Thank you, Sweet Sister Mercy, for the theme song. Rob Nadler in the studio mixing that one down. We appreciate it so much. And I have special guests today, and we might as well get right to it. Karis is on special assignment at the beach. So into the newsroom today is the lovely Melissa Singer-Reed. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I wish that I was on special assignment at the beach.
Well, she sent me a picture a few minutes ago, and because I sent her the link to the show, and I said, just in case you get any time, and I got this your number one picture where she was flipping me something. So, from the beach chair, of course.
Well, we miss her, of course.
We do. We missed her on the show.
Her and Jim to get away. That's awesome.
Everybody's going to miss her cursing today, I'm sure, because you and I will be much more subdued than that, I hope. And let's see who's checking in with us, Melissa. There's Glenn on the YouTube channel, and he's checking in. What's happening,
Hey,
Glenn? Steve Downey in the house. Stephen Bell from Don't Tell Steve. He's the Steve of Don't Tell Steve. Toy from Rockstar. We got all the rockers coming in today. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. And Toy saying hi to you, Melissa. How about that?
Hello, Toy.
Devin in the house. How are you, Devin? Good to see you. Ray Renee from That One Party Band.
Right.
Sean Trill, how are you? I'm saying hi to just a few more here if we can. And Melissa.
What?
We're having some technical difficulties.
Oh.
Look at this. Technical difficulties.
Hey, girl.
Hold on, my pina colada is coming. You guys gotta give me a second.
Hola.
Hi, Jim. Or is that your cabana boy?
It is.
Hola. Oh, my
Wow.
gosh. Well,
That's
you are
it.
a sight for sore eyes.
How are
Yes.
you guys? I'm glad.
Well,
you guys
I'm really jealous. I wish I was there with you having a pina colada.
Oh, it's so good. I think I drank more on this vacation than I have in 3 years.
It looks beautiful there.
I know, the woman that
Nice.
doesn't drink. I know.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Are you having fun, Karis?
Oh yeah, I'm having a great time.
Good.
We're having an awesome time. I'm
All
glad
right.
I'm glad you're doing this, Melissa.
I
I
am
was like,
too.
she would be perfect for this one.
I'm super glad that you joined. It's very cool.
Well, yeah. Instead of just sending me pictures of flipping,
I know, now
she's frozen.
Now she's going to taunt us with her
I don't
beach drinks.
know.
Your service is poor, but it's okay. Your
cut out
pina
here.
colada looks good.
And your hair still looks great. I mean,
Beach
it's
blown. Oh,
amazing.
she's out of here. See, all right, that quick,
Aw.
she's gone.
Shoot.
But thank you, Karis. Frozen
love you,
with a
girl.
frozen cocktail.
Indeed.
Melissa, we're going to talk about something fun today.
Yeah.
You have the reason you came to mind immediately when we had this topic come up was that you do a bunch of festivals, but yet you also are part of a band that plays many festivals, but you're also part of a production company who puts on music at festivals and provides production. So I think you have a good taste of all this to talk about today.
We do.
And one of the things I want to get started with, you told me before the show, festivals are fun, you said.
Great.
What do you consider, why are they great?
Well, I mean, first of all, you know, you're outside. People like to be outside, especially in the summertime, even when it's hot. Even if there's a little rain, no, you don't want a lot of rain, of course, but it's just a lot of fun, and people are just enjoying the music, enjoying the adult beverages, the food. The kids can go ride the rides. It's just a good time.
Yeah, and when these festivals go on, you guys just got finished playing Strawberry Festival in Troy over the weekend, and then you did.
We were close to your
another big
hood.
one.
Yeah, we had a really good time. That was the first time for us there, and we loved it. We really enjoyed it a lot. It's always nice when you go somewhere, especially for the first time, and they've got it down, right? Like, so the venue has the proper stage, a good PA, all of that stuff, right? And that's what we found in Troy at the Strawberry Fest. We had a really great experience with them. It wasn't their first rodeo by far.
Yeah, and that's fantastic to hear because, obviously production makes or breaks a festival. It does. And the way they are able to keep on track with timing and all the things that go on to make a festival go off is so important. And it's a lot of moving parts, Melissa. There's your dog's jumping in the background, by the way.
I know.
It's
I'm
fine.
really sorry. I probably have to. I know. He's trying to showboat here. Oh my God.
That's okay. He can come on the air with us anytime.
Okay. Well, I don't know. He's very jealous, apparently. But anyway, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Scott.
So let's talk about moving parts. Let's talk about all the things and kind of walk me through some of the important factors, especially if some of the folks out here that are new bands or something that are considering playing a festival. What are some of the important factors to remember about the difference between festivals and club gigs?
Oh, well, first of all, I think you have to remember that, you're at a family event, right? And so you have to make sure that, you're dressed appropriately, you have the right, no T-shirts with obscenities written on them or anything like that, of course. You should not use obscenities. You just need to just play to your audience and make sure that, I am so sorry. I'm going to have to let him out. I'll be right.
You do what you got to do. Okay.
I know.
I see.
I'll be right back.
So we're here today with Melissa Singer-Reid from the band, Cincinnati band Deviate, and also Dreamboat Annie, a tribute to Heart. And we're going to talk about all the things you need to know about playing a festival and some of those things that go on. Lee's given a shout out to Mike Caldwell Productions in Troy. They were great to deal with, he said. That's awesome to hear.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't have the best experience sometimes with production that is set up at a festival. I've seen it.
Well, right.
And they don't have enough power and all those things.
Right. And so I think what, you and I were chatting about before we got online was that, when you book, as you said, a new band or a band that's going to do a festival for the first time, it's really important to do that legwork up front. When you book that gig, which probably is going to be, sometimes not very long before the festival, but often, for us, it's 6, 9, 12 months out. So you need to definitely do the legwork and send your writer, if you have one, and just kind of identify with them what your needs are as a band, and then help educate them if they don't know what they need. And sometimes it's just little things. It can be, you should have a bathroom or a portalet even close to the stage so that when the band goes on break, they don't have to walk, half a mile across the midway to get to a restroom because it takes that much more time, to get back. Have a garbage can like nearby for the stage. I mean, it's little things like that. But the key things are certainly electric. When you're a large group like ours, you require and a lot of players, and with full production between our PA, our lighting, and the back line, we require a lot of electric. So it's really important to understand what is at the venue, what they're providing, or let them know what they need to provide. So whether that is, if that's shore power, or that, if they have it available, great. If not, then they'll need to rent a generator. So it's just those kind of conversations that early on that make it go really smoothly then when you get there and everybody knows what to expect and it should go like clockwork from there.
Well, and I want to add in a couple things that those are all incredible points. And if somebody's watching today that's looking to play a festival, you need to consider all these things. You have to have a stage plot. You have to have all the things. But I want to really get into power for a minute, because I've done so many MC jobs at festivals, and power always seems to be a 4-letter word at these festivals, because there's never enough of it a lot of times. And then they say, oh, we brought a generator. And it's some home generator that is on wheels, and it's just not reliable. Plus, if you get power surges, you're going to hurt a lot of equipment. You can't have that. So power is an incredible component of festivals and working there. We'll get into the band stuff and etiquette in a little bit, but I really dwell on that. You just can't bring an extension cord with 100 plugs on it and expect to run everything off of one feed. It just doesn't work.
Right. And again, I'm not the power expert, of course. I've been very lucky and blessed to be surrounded by incredible production people, whether Todd Buck, Lee Reed, my husband, Chuck, he was an electrician as well. And so they knew, and they know exactly what you need. And you can't, to your point, you can't go in to a festival or any kind of outdoor situation with as many people in our band, or even less. It could be 4 people, 5 people. But if you're all trying to plug into the same circuit, and that circuit is also being used by the hot dog stand or the cotton candy stand down the midway, it's just inevitable. And the worst thing that happens is when you hit that first note running as a band, and everybody's excited, and you start, and you are halfway through that first song or even the second song, and the power goes dead. And that's just like, oh yeah, it's just like, wow, So just trying to keep everybody, and we've had that happen. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen, and it can happen at large festivals as well. Because power gets, unfortunately, things get move, things, power gets cut off. And so again, we Deviate are very spoiled, because our crew is on it, and they get it going like immediately right away. So
and they know, they know the amount of power you draw and what you need and all that. And that should also be included in your rider and your stage plot. Because a lot of bands nowadays are traveling more lightly. They're not carrying big amps. They're not, they're using pedal boards that plug direct into the set, into the PA and those kind of things. So it's a little different world sometimes, but you still have that old guard that's out, and they want wedge monitors, and they want loud Marshall stacks behind them and all those things. And you guys, when you do production, sometimes you've got to backline all that stuff as well for a band that's coming in, maybe a national coming in. They're coming in on the plane with their guitar in hand. You got to backline everything, and they have specific requirements as to what they want.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, I think it, again, for us, our crew, again, Todd, Lee, Brian, they've all, had experience working, with nationals, a lot of it. And, it's critical and key. You understand what has to happen. And we, it's funny, because I told somebody this weekend, for the Strawberry Festival, they allotted 15 minutes between bands. And I told, the organizers, I said, well, it'll probably take us about 23 minutes and we'll be up and running. And she looked at me and she goes, well, okay, whatever. And it was, and then, we got close, and she goes, I've been watching my watch, and it's, it's like 24 minutes. You're right. And I said, well, again, it's just experience, and it's, they're just very, very efficient at what they do. And you need to be. Honestly, we were the headlines, so we didn't have to worry about someone coming on after us. But it's really important to adhere to the schedule, because it's not fair to the band behind you if you go over, and you should really never go over unless the client asks you to,
Right.
It really kind of then puts the schedule behind, and you can never recover from that. Once you're behind, it's really hard to catch up.
And that's what that leads us into this next little segment here, as we wanted to talk about. Obviously, you need to tell the festival organizer, listen to my voice today. It's Melissa. I'm struggling today. But it is, you need to tell them what you need. They need to know everything about your band. They need to know how many pieces it is. They need to know what you need, where you need PowerPoints, all those things. But stage etiquette becomes hugely important. And one act that goes over by 10 minutes or 15 minutes can throw the whole world off. And like you said, Strawberry Festival, that's a pretty aggressive stage change out in 15 minutes for them to put that in their timing. You and I both know that it's hard to stay on time all day long with a 15-minute changeover. Things are going to happen.
And I will tell you, I mean, what she said to me when I questioned her about that, I just said, look, we'll be quick, but it's not going to be 15 minutes, But she said, we just do that because we have found in the past, if you tell a band, okay, we'll give you a half an hour, say 30 minutes, they'll take 40 or they'll take 45. And then it's really it's really off. So again, they had already tried to factor in for that. But it's, again, when your production team knows what's going on and your bands are professional and they get on quickly, they get off quickly, that really should all be pretty smooth.
And look at your boy Lee there coming through with the greatest comment there. 5 minutes lost at the beginning is 30 minutes at the end. And that is so true, because that adds up over the day. And he also said, typically you're 22 minutes up and 12 to get off the stage. That is a great band and production company, folks, that can do that, especially 12 off, because you guys don't mess around. You've got a job to do. If there's another act coming up, or let's say you're opening for a national and they're already set behind you or whatever, they are expecting to come on exactly at the time they're supposed to go on. They're expected to play their 75-minute set or whatever it is. Right. And then they're going to pack up and grab their guitar and go back and get on a plane and head home or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
You can't delay these people. And,
nope.
That means you can't lean over the stage because there's so many people. Deviate. I was there the other night on Sunday night at the Blue Note. Everybody wants to talk to you guys. You've got such a great following, and I don't even call them fans. It's a family of people, but that family wants to have a piece of you, and they want to talk. And fans need to understand, on a switchover on a stage where something's going on and there's another group coming up, it's got to be done, and it's got to be done now. We don't have time to talk to you. And after we get off the stage, we're going to talk to you, right?
Right. Right.
And that's a hard thing to get through to some people, because everybody wants, oh, come on, let's get a picture. Let's do this. And no, Melissa's got a job to do. And so does everybody else up there. Now, you were lucky at the Blue Note. You didn't have anybody following you on that stage, which was nice. That was nice. They had a side stage and a main stage.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great event. And thank you for attending, by the way. But yeah, we always, we have our little kind of compound off to the side or behind the stage as well. So during a festival or whatever. So people come over to see us and we certainly go out in the crowd and talk and, see the fans and, the people that have supported us for so long. We are, again, so grateful for that because, again, that's, we certainly would not have sustained a 15-year run without it. So our fans are everything to us. So we always want to be able to talk to them when we can. But they understand pretty much, unless it's someone that is new to us. And then they're always gracious, if we say, you know what, we're trying to clear, we're trying to strike the stage right now. I'm happy to talk to you, but I'm going to come down to you, and talk to you down there. So everybody's, understanding of that, which is great.
And Devin just made a comment I've got up on the screen here. She runs Springfest in Miamisburg, Ohio, and they have live music all weekend. And she says, when your big, most expensive band is the last one, you want their money's worth. You don't want them coming on 30 or 40 minutes late. And that's a great point because these festival promoters, whoever the headliner is for that night, deserves the time they've got and not to be cut short, because a lot of times there's sound curfews when these outdoor festivals are going on. You got to have a hard stop at a certain time. So that's a whole different animal as well.
Exactly. And, we always feel bad about that too, because we have, we'll have our hard stop and, let's just, well, like at the Blue Note, like, outside. So we'll just call it 10:30. And we know that we have a hard stop at 10:30. And then there's still people having a great time. And we had such a great crowd. And, everybody just one more song. And we'd love to, and I, we always walk off the stage and you feel bad because you feel like people think, well, gosh, why can't you just do one more? It's just like, when you go to Riverbend and the lights come up at 11 o'clock, right? I mean, I'm sure that there's many times the bands, the National would love to stay on there for one more song, but they just, the rules are the rules. And so we abide by that. And, but we never want people to think that we just don't want to do another song. It's just what we got to do.
And a perfect example of that was over the summer, last year, I got to see Garth Brooks at the Bengals Stadium, and it stormed like crazy.
Right.
And it was delayed, and then finally went on. And I understand after reading on it and this, he was actually fined for that. He didn't care. I mean, he's definitely not hurting for money.
Right.
But the production company and everybody got fined because there was a hard stop in Cincy, and they're paying for additional police officers and all the security staff and that kind of thing. And it was funny that they continued to fine him because of Mother Nature, and I guess somewhere along the line, that's probably in a contract in page 940 of the small print, but he didn't seem to care. He went on and played and gave the crowd a great show, but it would have been a very short show otherwise. So I think he just said, well, we'll just do it and take our lumps. If he misses out on a few $1,000s, I don't think it's going to matter to him, but it can really matter to a festival organizer in one of these smaller festivals. And you guys play all the Saint festivals, Melissa. How many? I mean, I joke about it on the show. There ought to be like a Saint festival. There's so many Saint festivals in Cincinnati, and you guys seem to play them all.
Yes, there is definitely the Catholic diocese. We're blessed to be a fine, we are blessed that they're a client of ours, I should say.
You should send them a Christmas card every year.
Right. Well, it's individual parishes, and they all do their own thing, of course. But we just we've had a really successful run with the church circuit, and but I will say we've been very lucky just in general with doing summer concert series for different communities, and we do 90% of our shows from Memorial Day to the first or second week of October. So we're just that's our peak season. And
it's hard for you guys to play, other than a bigger venue, because you do draw so many people, and all the players and the things that go along with your production you're not the least expensive band, I'll say, in Cincinnati. I know you guys command a pretty good price for what you do, and that makes it sometimes tough on the little local bar owner sometime to bring you in. So you've got to get these festivals. And I understand you played Taste of Cincinnati once to 150,000 people.
I think, listen, the larger events like Taste and Oktoberfest, they draw hundreds of thousands of people, into town. And so, we played Taste a number of times. We've been very lucky to also play Oktoberfest a number of times. And Oktoberfest is, if you've ever been down for that, it's off the chain. It's just wall to wall people, and they, it's a great vibe. All those big events are. We played, actually, we opened for the Doobie Brothers in Summit Park to 130,000 people, which was certainly a highlight. And that was, again, we've done some amazing things together over the 15 years. We've opened for a lot of nationals. We've done and like I said, at the event on Sunday, the 20th of May, our 15th anniversary party celebration, I would tell everybody this, but if I didn't sing anymore, I've had a great life. With this band, these guys, and their wives and their kids. I mean, we're one unit, and we've been blessed to be together for a very long time. And you hate to use the analogy, all the right people on the bus in the right seats, but that's really what it's about. And we've been fortunate to find that. So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, festivals are great. Like I said, I think anybody who wants to break into that, you just have to know and understand your audience. Make sure that you, that you work with the client to determine what their goals are, and then you deliver that. And if you do that, you'll be on their list. You'll be their first call every year. So it's a lot of fun.
And hold this thought, but I think TJ made a comment. How do you get into festivals? How do you get your name in the hat? And let's get to that in a minute. But I've got Dave Shores on the phone. I want to touch base because I won't have him long here. Dave, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Dave is a longtime production guy, and he's now, what's your title at Stubbs, Dave?
I'm the stage manager.
Okay, stage manager of Stubbs Park in Centerville. Who does a great summer concert series. It's a fantastic venue. Last week, got 4,000 some people for Practically Petty there on Sunday night as a Tom Petty tribute band. And Dave, if you were to give advice to anybody about festivals and outdoor events like this, give me your top 5 pieces of advice you'd throw at a band that was coming to do a festival type atmosphere.
Well, you and Melissa pretty much covered everything. I tell bands
Are you with
that
me?
you do not know, take your own tarps.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a really good one.
That's a good one. I
That's a
missed
really
that
good one. I can't believe I didn't think of
Okay.
that.
And, I usually carry enough tarps to cover everybody. So, power's never been an issue with us, especially at Stubbs, man. We've got it down to a science there, and our bands are great. I love the traveling groups because they're just so easy to get along with. But I worked festivals all over Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. And and I see my friend Beth from Denmark is in here.
Yes, all the way from Denmark. And there's Kimberly
Yeah,
too saying hi.
She's staying up late to watch.
Thanks, Beth.
So, I mean, as far as the festivals, just listen to the stage manager. Another pet peeve of mine is wait till the other band is completely off stage before you load on.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how many guitar stands I've acquired.
Or how much
Yeah.
stuff goes missing, though, right, Dave? Or I'm sorry, not. I was talking to Scott about this earlier, and sometimes people, they grab a mic, not thinking. They'll grab a mic, they'll grab a cable and wrap it up, and think, oh, shoot, that didn't belong to me. It belonged to the production company. There's checks and balances.
One thing I want to touch on, Dave, you've worked the bar scene as well, and also the festival scene, but there are a lot of well-intentioned people who want to offer to help at the end of the show. They're like, "Oh, we'll help you carry your gear," all that. Can you?
No.
Yeah, I mean that's my term is always no. First of all,
No.
if you've had a few adult beverages, I don't want you carrying a $1,000 speaker in your hand. And secondly, it's just there's too many things that can go wrong. You don't know to not step on a guitar pedal, and break it, and those kind of things. So, I don't you think that's a problem sometimes, because there's a lot of people that want to help.
Well, we don't have that issue at Stubbs. At larger festivals, we're all barricaded,
Right.
and a lot of times we'll have roadies to help do that, or stage crew. So
Now, do you use
it's never been much of an issue.
do you use professional hands for your shows at Stubbs that are hired through like Bash or somebody, or
No, it's me.
you're the hand?
That's it.
All right.
I am. Well, the bands most time they load in, but I'll give them a hand if they need it. But yeah, last week was crazy. 4,400 people. Wow.
Yeah, that's a big crowd for that venue. It's a hillside of venue with a big amphitheater, and man, it's a cool place, Dave. Anything else you want to share before I let you go today? We're gonna have to finish this up with Melissa, but I wanted to bring you on here and have your perspective, because you've done so many shows out there. I know.
Yeah, but I'm waiting to work with Melissa. We have talked, and I've gave her the contacts. So we're going to get her in at Stubbs too here soon.
I'd
Yes,
love
we
to see
are.
that happen.
Thank
Love to
you.
see that happen. And they're
Let's do it.
fantastic band. They are, Dave. So, Dave, thank you so much for joining us. Dave Shores, everybody. I've known him since we were roller skating together when we were much younger, but he's a quality production guy, and now he's kind of retired into this stage management position at Stubbs Park. And you landed a good one there, Dave.
All right. Thank you, Scott. I hope to see you soon.
All right. Thank you, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Dave.
Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, Melissa, let's wind this up with a little dialogue on what it takes to get into festivals. I saw Chris Reese commented it's tough to get into the festival mix there, and TJ was asking that. He said Chris's comment was breaking into the festival circuit is not easy.
No,
What
it's
advice would you give somebody?
I mean, I think you just have to start, early and reach out to different festivals, contact the church, ask them who, is the festival committee that's managing the event for that year and who is handling the entertainment, and then go from there. I mean, you really have to break into that way. There's really, unless someone refers you, which is always great too, right? But I would just say that it takes a bit. Believe me, it takes a minute. And of course, festivals want bands that have a large following. So if you have a large following, that is to your benefit as well, because they want to bring new people into their festival environment. But yeah, Scott, to your point, it's I think you had said earlier about, festival money and bar money. And yeah, the two really don't, mix. We don't charge our bar owners, what we would charge a festival in terms of fee. But again, we don't really do bars that much anymore. And, we always remember the people that helped us when we started out. And I still remember that first festival that gave us a break. And even though, monetarily they may not be up with somebody else, they gave us a break, and that's how we got into it. And so we've continued to do their festival year after year. And the same with clubs. We don't forget who gave us a leg up when we started. So, we're empathetic to that as well. And we understand, what we have to do to help make the festival money, what we have to do to make club owners money. We understand that dynamic.
Right. And, Devin made a point there. I saw a comment by her. And one thing I encourage people, because I get calls a lot about putting on festivals and will I come MC and what suggestions do I have? And one suggestion I always make to festival organizers are, please realize you can get your band sponsored by local merchants. That happens a lot. Somebody sponsors the main stage. Somebody sponsors each individual band with some monetary donation to the festival, which helps offset the cost for a really good band. And that's a good thing. And I think that if you're ever out there, people that are watching today are looking to do that or put on some sort of music fest, realize a couple things. Number one, it's not as easy as it may look. When you go to a festival and the production is good and the lighting is good and the sound and all that, it's because of a lot of work. And like the Strawberry Festival's been doing it 30, 40 years. So they're one of those that's, they got it together. There are other people who are putting on festivals here, national festivals coming up this summer, who I frankly worry a little bit about, because I think they may not know what they've bitten off. You look at Country Concert, they've been doing that 40 years up north. And, you put on something that rivals Country Concert, sometimes it's going to be a challenge until you work the bugs out. And a lot of bugs sometimes, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
A ton of bugs. And Devin says it's a 12-month endeavor. It is. And like you said, Melissa, I think you're booking out on these, 6, 9, 12 months in advance, which also means your product needs to stay good. So
Right.
often bands switch and players switch, and they go from being this big following band to, we lost a few guys in the band. Now we're not as good or talented, or, do we have to bring in a studio musician to play with us for the night because we don't have a bass player? That can get a little dicey.
I think that, we've been very blessed. We have repeat clients. I mean, and I wish, I've often said, I wish we could clone ourselves. We don't do that. I mean, I know there are bands out there that do that, that, have, a couple different versions. And I think that's great. If you can do that, that's amazing. We were never that. So, a lot of times I will have to turn clients away because we're already booked, because it's just been, year after year after year with certain clients. So anyway, I mean, I just think that for those that are trying to penetrate that market, just continue, and you will get in there. And then, once you just prove yourself and do a great show. And like I said, you'll be a return act, I'm sure, that's just how it works.
Thanks, Bob Klein, for that link there to the Ohio Festivals and Events Association. That's a good one for people to see. And Melissa, you have a vast amount of knowledge and experience, and that's why you're here today, for one. And number two is because you keep it real. And I want to say that before we go today. You're one of those people who you're relatable. People can talk to you. They feel like they're part of your family. I watched you at the Blue Note the other night make a absolutely gut-wrenching speech, which you did very well on, about your band and 15 years of that. And it made me proud to stand there and say, I know these people. I know these people. They are friends. I consider them friends. And that in itself gets you booked. I'm just going to say that. It does. And you come to a festival, there's no attitude. There's no arrogance. Your production guys are some of the greatest people I know. I sat in the audience, had a talk with Todd Buck that night at the Blue Note, and I've never talked to Todd that long in my life. And, Todd's usually
a few words.
Yeah, man of few words. But we had a great talk, and I learned so much about him and his history with music and all that. This guy's not an engineer. He's not a sound engineer. He's a man of many coats. He does all kinds of things. And when you're surrounded by people like that, Melissa, you have the entire package. And I just wanted to say that to people, because DV8 is one of those bands that when the first time you see them, you're like, wow. And then when you get to know them, you're like, this band's at another level. I mean, you guys are really that good and that professional. And you've had some changes recently, and that's tough on a band, but you're making it work, and you're changing your skin a little bit, but it's still going to be a good project and a good thing. And Aaron Thomas, in addition to your band, and Steve, I mean, you've got guys that are filling in for some folks who've been off with illnesses and such. It's really a cool thing to see that community come together like it does. And
yeah,
you ought to be playing the festival circuit. I mean, that's the next level, and you ought to be playing that. And you've opened, you said, for a lot of big nationals. And I want to end with one thing, if I can. Any suggestions or maybe ideas for people out there that maybe put on the bill to open for a national? What were your few suggestions be? And then we're going to run out of here today.
Oh gosh. I mean, I do not know.
Can you be a fanboy? I mean, can you, oh, I love Night Ranger, I want to go hug them. I mean, does that happen, or does it?
Oh, you mean when you're there? Like, you mean in terms of approaching the national act?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you can fangirl over people or whatever. I mean, again, we've been around a lot of bands, and in the backstage area, and whatever during shows that we open for, or just, we're doing production for, and or both. They're just real people. We just treat them with respect and hope that that's what we get back. And, we always just make sure, like, if we're doing production, we're there to make sure that they're happy with it, right? We're not there to get autographs or get our photos taken with them or any of that. And so, if that happens as a result, great. But that's not the primary reason that we're there. So I think that's always kept us real grounded, and also, given us a lot of success too, because, when people are, you were talking about Todd being, wearing many hats, that Todd does, Chuck, my husband did. I mean, when you're a musician and you're also in the sound business, you have a great appreciation for both. Both sides of the fence, right? So you just really want to make it the best you can for everybody involved.
Well, and speaking of Chuck, that's one regret I have in life, that I never got a chance to meet him, because I've heard so many great things and so many people talk so highly of Chuck. And I know, your emotional speech the other night at the Blue Note really showed your love and compassion for this band and how it was put together. And what a great legacy you guys are leaving, even if you never play, like you say, another note on stage. DV8 is one of those bands. And Glenn said, because of DV8, I've met so many people. And that's true, because it's a huge family. I mean, you had, I don't know how many at the Blue Note, but those were all family out there. Those were just not people who walked up and said, hey, we're going to see a show, a rock show tonight. No, it was family. And
Right.
That's awesome. It's just outstanding.
We're blessed.
Absolutely.
I love my DV8 family.
And Brian throwing a comment in there. He says, remember doing a Night Ranger production gigs at Florence Stadium, chatting and throwing Frisbee in the outfield after sound check. Yeah, because most of those guys just want to cut loose a little bit and have some fun.
I mean, yeah. But you have to remember, like, I'll never forget. I mean, Lee has been around this since he was a little boy. And he learned so much from Chuck, and then Todd as well, of course, and so many others. John Euchre from the Dayton area there. And
oh yeah, we know John.
So John's great. Yeah. So many people, and I remember a show that Todd and Chuck were doing for Craig Morgan, country artist, and when he was just getting started. And before, after sound check, before they were waiting for the show, or while they were waiting for the show to start, he had his, some kind of bike there, his motorcycle or whatever. And I remember, Lee running over and saying, hey, Craig wants to take me a ride on his bike. Can I go, Dad? And Chuck's like, yeah, sure. He got to do a lot of that kind of stuff,
Right.
And so, it's great memories, great opportunities, great experiences.
Well, you have provided great insight today, and I appreciate you being a part of our program today and talking, because that's what we do on Hot Topic Tuesday. Sometimes they're controversial and sometimes they're more informative. And I think if anybody watches this today, and if you're watching after the fact, you want to leave a comment on the comments or a question for Melissa or I, we'll be glad to answer them for you later on.
Absolutely.
But it's one of those topics that it's kind of the next level when you go to play festivals. But I also know that some people that are very local, who don't play out a lot, who have landed an opening act, and then there's a support act, and then there's the national act. And even if you're doing the opening act, you've given a time schedule. I think we've proven today time is everything. Power is everything for production, and to be nice. And the etiquette there is just to be nice to the people who are working hard to get you on that stage and off that stage.
Just be nice and be professional. I always told my kids, and always say, just to everybody in general, just act like you've been there before. It's really pretty simple. So again,
Right.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Melissa. Hang in there with me after the show for a moment, if you will.
Will do.
And, all right. Thank you, Melissa Singer-Reed, everybody. DV8
Bye,
and
everybody.
Dreamboat Annie, a tribute to Heart. If you haven't seen either one of them, it's a must see. And I'm going to tell you too, Dreamboat Annie, that you guys literally could be on the road the entire year with that show. It's so good. So
Well,
thank you, Melissa. We love you a bunch. Guys,
Love
we're going to
you.
get out of here. We will be back again tomorrow. I'll be live at noon with Whatever Wednesday. Join me for that tomorrow. And until then, get out and support live local music and the bands and venues that bring it to you, everybody. Bye for now. Bye, Melissa.
Bye.
And don't forget, the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities they represent. Thanks for watching Haul Around Town Radio. You can find us on Instagram at Haul Around Town Radio or on YouTube at Haul Around Town. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.